Hey, good afternoon. This is Sean Cheek with Talking Baseball. I wanted to spend just a few moments talking about a subject that I think is important for us as coaches, as parents, as trainers to really abide by when it comes to developing and mentoring and coaching our kids, our children, people under the sphere of influence. I'm fortunate to have several young players from the ages between 6 and 12 that I train, and one of the things that I'm passionate about and that I'm learning really is that they're so impacted by the how. In other words, how we address them, how we coach them, how we train them, how we engage with them, how we encourage them, how we discipline them. All those traits. And so, the significance of what we do, will either impact negatively or impact positively. And I think there's something important to address, and I'll just address one of the sides of this coin today. There's a difference between a can't do and a won't do. I'm not going to really address the won't do, because if a kid just won't do certain things, when you're trying to instruct them, then that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. I want to talk about the can't do. It's our job as coaches, even parents, to be a teacher, not a preacher. I think a lot of times, a preacher gives a strong message, they go directly to it, but there's not a whole lot of teaching involved in a preaching sermon. We need to be able to teach our children the proper way to do things, and that comes from, development. I have several teachers that teach young kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth grade, and one of the most common denominators that I find when I ask them how is success in the classroom, how is it obtained, and every one of them would say that there's got to be a consistency of message. So if there's one thing that I can encourage you as trainers, coaches, parents, have a consistent message. Don't have, one person saying one thing, another person saying the other thing, you telling them one thing, the trainer telling them something else. There's got to be a consistent message. When my son is playing baseball on his 6U team, I don't coach him. It's not my job to coach him during that time. He's got a coach, and they're there to train them and encourage them and to coach them, and they do a great job of that. There's no reason for me to come in with another voice to try to coach him during that time. That's not my job. My job is to be a cheerleader for him. And so, I don't preach to him during the game. I don't teach him during the game. I simply encourage him during the game. My extent is, let's go, Matthew, let's get a hit, let's go, let's play ball, have fun. So, it's that. I don't try to coach him from the stands. That's too many voices going on in the poor kid's head. And I see it, all the way through, how I train kids all the way up into college. And if you got different messages going on, it's really difficult for a kid to grasp it. So, be consistent with your message. I think it's important that, we understand that, the impact that we're making, with our words, with how we're teaching or how we're not teaching them, will really carry some weight in regards to their life. The next thing I want you to hopefully instill is be realistic. Be realistic on how they're developing. Be realistic on the goal that they have. Be realistic on how much that they can get at a certain time. I see too many times where kids are trying to grasp something, and the coach, instructor, or parent, they're throwing 6 different things at them at one time to try to get. Be very realistic, be very basic when it comes to training. That's something that I've learned, really carries a lot of weight. And then, also, are they improving? Look at the small things. I mean, are they improving in, the way they're throwing the baseball, the way they're running the bases, the way they're catching the ball? I mean, something really small, if you can see the improvement, that's a good thing. I mean, my son is 6, and people, ask me all the time, man, I bet he's a slugger like you were. Well, man, when I was 6 years old, I wasn't any good. I was just out there. I was doing the same thing that all 6-year-olds do. I was looking at the dirt, I was putting my hat on sideways. You know, I was probably worried more about the snacks at the end of the game than I was at hitting the ball during the game. So let's give these kids a break.
Take a slight right turn onto Highway 48.
A lot of them have a lot of potential, but we can quench that potential with unrealistic expectations. So, you know, I hope this encourages you. I hope that you can encourage your kids. You know, these are for the kids that just can't do. In other words, they haven't been taught or trained or developed. They will get it. Just be consistent with your message. Be a teacher, not a preacher, and encourage the things that they're doing well, work on the deficiencies that they're not. Anyway, hope you all have a good day. Thank you.